Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today we talk about slow jigs. This is slow jigging 101, and we've broken things down into bite-sized chunks. This is for slow jigs in particular. Now, before we even get there, there's a few things that we need to clear up. Slow jigs, do they work in fast jigging outfits or any other outfit? The answer is yes, they can. Because all you need to do with slow jigs is to actually just give it slack. And then the action is always going to be on the way down. Now, even if you can't work the jigs going up, they still have action going down. And this is the whole reason why people in the States, even if they're using trolling reels, they could still catch on slow jigs. Okay? Even if you're using thick line, especially if the fish are holding at a certain depth, yes, you would still be able to use slow jigs. Now, can you use fast jigs in slow jigging outfits and still produce fish? The fish are thick. If the fish are thick, you can drop eddy bombs and still catch fish on a hand line. So yeah, it could still work, but it kind of depends on where you are, if the fish are thick or not, if the fish are active or not. Uh, if the fish are active, you can use anything, almost anything on a hand line and they will bite. How much more if you actually have a rod and reel? So, that's that. But if it's at a time where slow jigging was designed for, which is in difficult conditions or in between active fish. Okay, so the slow jigs were developed for the periods where the fish are not active and kind of still coax them to bite. Not kind of, but still coax them to bite. Then it matters because at this time those eddy bombs won't work. Your fast jig on a slow jig or your slow jig on a trolling rod will not work, or it won't work as efficiently. Okay, because it only takes one stupid fish to actually get fooled. But to be efficient in those times, then yes, you have to have a proper rod and reel to go with your line and your specific jig. So that takes care of that. Now, I always compare this with, let's say, a biker specialized in road biking, and then a mountain biker, and then a BMX biker. You put a BMX biker on a road bike, they won't be able to do their tricks, but they're still gonna probably do better than average Joe that's just walking around, or the guy that's used to riding a bike with a casual riders, or people that use the bikes with the basket in front. Mountain bikers will typically be better uh, on road bikes and BMX bikes than, again, the average Joe. It could be that he can do a bit of tricks on both. Okay, BMX bike, of course, are the guys that do a lot of tricks. He wouldn't be able to do that with the road bike, but he would be able to do some of them on a mountain biker. And then the road biker would probably be a bit faster on the BMX than normal guys, and he could probably do the same with a mountain bike, but he wouldn't be able to do tricks. You get the idea, but that's pretty much it. So um, there's a few things that can work, but not as efficiently as you would if you're on the right bike. Okay, that's just that. So slow jigs are asymmetrical. There's a heavy side and then there's a light side. This flat side here points up. This triangular part points down. Very easy. Okay, very easy to see. If you can see a fat, heavy, thick jig like this, more than likely this is actually the jig that you would see as a slow jig. But there are slow jigs like this that are kind of wide and thin, and then there's also those that are long and slim, such as this one and this one right here. Okay, so they come in all different shapes and sizes, but one of the distinguishing factors is the asymmetrical, heavy asymmetrical shape. So flat side and then heavy side, you'll see even with this one right here, which is thin. Okay, let me take this out. Okay, see, you can see that there's a fat side and then flat. Okay, so that's very important. Here's another one. Okay, and this is a bit on the rounder side, but you can see on this one right here, same thing. It has a flat side and then it has a fat side. Okay, see that? See? So, very good examples of these. So, if you're looking for a slow jig, always look for something like that. Now, another example is this one from Major Craft right here. It's as far as the fat one is concerned. So, this isn't flat, but it has like these two, it has a ridge in the middle like that. But, you have this. Basically, what it is, if you see, give it like some slack, you'll find that it always wants to go to one side. Okay, so you'll find that there's always going to be a heavy side and then there's a light side. So even if it's not a V, there is always going to be a heavy side and a flat side, and it's always going to be asymmetrical. Okay, whereas with um, fast jigs, you'll find that they're symmetrical. So whatever you find in one side, you'll find in the other side as well. Uh, we will have a video of we will have a video showing fast jigs as well. Okay, but let me show you one. Let me show you one so that you'll have a very good idea. We'll have another video that talks about fast jigs and stuff, but yeah. Um, this is a small one, but you can see. Okay, so see, whatever is there is also there. You'll see. Okay, so here's a very good example of a fast jig. So you see that? So whatever that side is, same here. So there's no difference from one side to another. Here's another one. This is center balanced. So it's actually balanced in the middle like that. Okay, but you'll find that that is exactly the same as there. So these are all designed to actually go down fast and cut through the water. For slow jigs, when you give it slack, one common thing for slow jigs is that when you give it slack, it always assumes the position wherein the heavy side faces down, and then it does whatever action it's designed for. So this one is a fluttering jig. So as soon as you give it slack, what it will do is start fluttering. There are some jigs that are designed to slide a little bit and then flutter. And then there are jigs that are designed to just slide completely, such as these. Okay, so for this, you give it slack, it immediately goes like that. It has very little wobble and a lot of the slide. So those are the three predominant actions of slow jigs. You'd probably be more familiar with this because when slow jigs first got popular, it was the wide jigs that actually got popular with it. So this is for a lot of people say that they're used to target bottom fish, but the thing is, I've also caught pelagics with this, such as tuna, uh, dorado, rainbow runner, and stuff like that. So it's not exclusive to bottom fish. It really depends on the current. Okay, so with that, I actually made everything um, kind of easy by designating each width of the jig a number. So this is a number one, this is a number two, and then for slim jigs, I designate them as a number three because when the current is actually kind of slow, what you want is a fluttering jig, and this shines in those situations. So I call this a number one because it's what you kind of pick up when the water is at a slower velocity or zero velocity. And then once the water starts kind of moving and the fish are uh, kind of active but not really. Okay, so these are the jigs that I use. They're a bit wider and longer. And then when the water is really fast and the fish are starting to really, get active and stuff, um, slim jigs. What happens if the water's really really fast? Then you can find even slimmer jigs. Okay, and if the water is dead calm, it's probably efficient to use small jigs that are very wide. And then there are jigs also that are kind of roundish, and they don't really have that much action, but what they can do is reach the bottom really fast, and they're small. So when let's say it's like 500 grams, they're small, they're kind of thick in profile, almost like an eddy bomb, but they're not. They're slow jigs. There's, I think, in the detailed video I showed one. Anyway, you kind of drop them down and they're very good for exploring, but also in these instances where the current is dead, they're very good for going down and presenting a small profile to fish that otherwise won't bite something big. Okay, so especially when you're fishing deep, that's something that you could present to them, that's a snack as opposed to a meal. So kind of fits the premise of slow jigging perfectly, presenting a snack instead of a meal. There are a few things that you should pay attention to when you go slow jigging, and firstly, it's where you connect. Okay, so the correct way is to have the slow jig on a split ring, and then you connect your assist hook like so, and then another solid ring. So the position is like that. Okay, and that's where you tie your line. With that, you give the assist hooks freedom of motion. You also give the jig its freedom of motion. Now at the back, it's just like that. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you're only allowed two hooks, either you put one hook here and one hook here, or you just use one hook. And then what you can do is uh, have a longer assist hook so that it actually sits closer to to the middle. But the top hook is the priority. Okay. The top hook is the priority, not the bottom. Now, another part of the system that affects the jig negatively if you're not careful is the leader size. Too thick of a leader, and what happens is that it kills the action because there's a lot of resistance on top of the jig when it's going down or when it's moving in the water. Obviously, the line is also going to affect this, so you can't use a line that's too thick. Otherwise, the jig will be going that position because of the drag that's created on top of it. So those are things that you need to really pay attention to. The connection that you have on the jig is very important. It gives it the range of motion that it needs. So a lot of people would use a solid ring, and some people actually use swivels. I talk about this at length in one video, but we'll touch up a bit on that. If you want to have something that works on everything 100% of the time, then it's a solid ring. Okay. Now, a lot of people use swivels. I do as well. And that that really depends on what you're trying to achieve. It could be that you want a bit of more roll on your jig. It could be you want that's particularly important for jigs that don't have that much roll. So if you want to put a swivel on this one, it will roll more, even if it's not kind of, this is 50-50, so has a little bit of a wobble and then a little bit of a slide. And this one will slide more than it would wobble. So if you put a swivel here, it would have a bit more wobble. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. And the main reason why you want to do that is, when you're fishing, a lot of people think that you're the one who's choosing what the fish want, but in reality, it's actually you looking for what the fish respond to. So, giving them a choice of, take for example, this kind of profile that has some roll will give you one more dimension than the other guy. Okay, so putting a swivel on this could trigger a reaction. And for me, I always say, like, hey, you don't choose the jig that the fish will bite. They choose it because they're the ones who will bite it. So if you have different sort of swivels, different sort of different sizes of solid ring that you can put when the fish are not responding, you know juggle those around with different profiles, and guess what, you are doing more than just changing jigs and changing the profiles, because you're giving the fish the choice. Okay, and it could be that the small switch is actually what they respond to. So it's better to have all these options than not. Colors, a lot of people are you know emphasizing color. So here's my take on that. If you're fishing in the daytime and it's clear water, very very clear water, and the fish are holding shallow, natural colors such as this sardine color or whatever color you fancy, okay, that'll work. So some people like greens. I like blues more than greens. uh I like pink, so in clear water it's those colors. Now, if I'm fishing really deep where I know the sunlight doesn't reach, that's when I use things like this. Like this whole back here glows. If you want a Christmas tree type thing where everything glows when you're dropping down really down deep, go right ahead. Dropping down deep with glowing uh glowing jigs is actually simulating squid, and squid, they have bioluminescence. Now, when you're dropping down really deep and you're dropping down something silver or some any other color, it kind of doesn't matter because it's so dark down there, it won't see they won't see. But the fish actually feel the jig before they see it. So it's still worth a try. Again, when you are faced with situations where the fish are not responding, it's not you who has to make the choice, it's the fish. So having different colors, glow, bright glow, light glow, and stuff like that, these are all part of the process. And literally, when the fish are not biting, it's a process of elimination. That's why you'll see me carry a lot of jigs in my box just so I could try different things. And it's not necessarily, I know that a lot of things will not work, and I know that there's only a few that they would respond to. But see, here's the thing. When the fish are not active, guess what? You're gonna have to go through a lot just so you'd be able to elicit a bite. Otherwise, the only other option is for you to stop fishing. And slow jigging was invented so that you don't have to. Okay, so that's the whole premise of slow jigs. Now, there are jigs like this that have bright colors and glow. Again, just options. Okay, so as far as colors are concerned, I encourage you to actually buy colors that you like, because um, the more you like the color, the more you're inclined to use them. But buy a variety, okay? And buy of the few that you kind of don't like, because sometimes the fish would respond to that. You have stripes, you have dots, you have full glow, you have half. There's no way around it. If the fish are responding to one of these things, it's better to actually have that one rather than not. Okay, so uh, sometimes it's kind of a team effort. You're on one boat, and then one guy gets a response, and he says like, okay, my jig has dots, and this specific weight and all this, and all you have to do is just switch, to something similar or the same, and then um just maybe the fish would respond to that. So it's not something that you have to stick to something really specific when you're fishing. Most times it's not going to be productive, but the more you switch and the more you actually give options to the fish, more than likely you'll find something that they respond to. Now, I've been in situations where no one was catching anything on the boat, and I was the one who was switching out jigs a lot. And guess what? Uh, I got nailed. I get strikes and all this, and I'm the one who actually tells people like, "Hey guys, use this, and this is how you work it," and then boom, everyone catches. So, be very observant, and yeah, as far as colors are concerned, take a few colors with you always. Uh, Natural colors for very clear water, shallower presentations. Uh, there are attractor patterns that don't look like anything but are so loud. It could be that they're neon colored and all this. Those are UV reactive lures, and the fish would be able to see them from afar. Um, Glow is very, very good when you are dropping down deep, but also take uh glow that's not super bright. Okay, take dull glow as well, because there are fish that respond better to uh the glow in the dark paint that's not too bright. There are also those times when the same fish would respond to something that glows like a Christmas tree. So don't just take one type, take a few, switch over, okay, cycle them, and then find the one that gives you success. The most important thing is to always remember it's not your choice, it's the fish. So give them a lot of options until you find the one that gets response. You can't talk about jigs without talking about assist hooks. We'll have a video specifically talking about these, okay? And but you can't talk about jigs without talking about assist hooks. Now, slow jigs are designed to be used with assist hooks. There are times where you could actually use a treble at the back here, but it totally depends on where you're at and the type of bottom that you have. The less hooks that you have on the jig, the less it will snag. Obviously, fewer points will have fewer points to snag. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, the most important assist hook would be the top hook. So if you're given a choice of having two hooks, it could be that you have one here, or just one double assist hook at the head. Because when you're working this jig, whether you like it or not, most of the time you're still going to pump it. Okay. So the fish would always grab the jig like that. So if you're using a single assist hook on top, that's tandem hook, you would want it to be a bit longer, okay? So that it covers the middle like that. And then when the fish grabs it, it would be there. You will miss a lot of fish. Uh, Even if you have four hooks, you're still going to miss a lot of fish. It's just the nature of things. It could be that they're striking in the wrong positions. It could be that your assist hooks are not the size, not the right size for the jig. Okay, but you have to switch things around to be able to capitalize on those strikes. Okay, but as a standard, there's always going to be two assist hooks, one on top, one on the bottom. Okay, two hooks on top, two hooks on the bottom, and the bottom is longer than the top. So that's something that you have to pay attention to. There are different types of hooks. For this example right here, this is actually a what 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 is this? A kamaitachi, I believe, from Gamakatsu, and it is a slow jigging specific hook. It is barbless. It is designed for super penetration, and believe it or not, the holding power on these hooks are actually really good. Um, there are hooks, of course, that have barbs, and there are hooks that have uh, triangular or angle patterns, such as this one right here from VMC. This is the 7117. The 7117 does not have an eye. Okay, so uh, again, these are slow jigging specific hooks. There are hooks that are specific to slow jigging that also have an eye, but what separates them from fast jigging hooks is the size of the body or the wire that's used. So if you can see here, that hook has thick wire. And if you look at a slow jigging hook, it's thin. Okay, it's thin relative to the size. So that's something that you need to pay attention to, because the assist hooks should move together with the jig. Now if you are hooking less fish, uh it could be that your hook size is too thick. Again, this is like a rabbit hole that you can explore, and I talk about this at length in one of the videos as well. So pay attention to the hooks that you use. Not just it's there's a whole science to this, and the premise of slow jigging is, again, to give you the chance of hooking a fish when they're less active. So the hooks are designed to hook the fish as soon as they grab it. Now, if it's too thick, the diameter of the wire is too thick, what happens is that you're gonna need to set the hook. Okay, it's not that it won't hook fish, but you're going to have to set the hook. Now um if you have your slow jigging set up, as far as assist hook set up, if you have it dialed in, you hardly have to set the hook. Okay, there are even hooks that have a coating on them, so that they're very slick, so that when the fish grabs the jig, they immediately just go in and hook the fish. So as far as hooks are concerned, always pay attention to the hooks that you're buying. For slow jigging, it's very specific. They are thin wired hooks, and these hooks, again, are designed so that you work less and the fish does most of the work. When they grab the jig, a little bit of pressure when you're uh reeling the jig up actually sets the hook. Now these hooks on top are designed to hook the fish's mouth, and the assist hooks, the other set, are designed to actually snag the outside or any part of the fish near the mouth. uh it helps you reel it in, and it helps spread the load. So, although the wires are thin, the load is spread across the face of the fish, and that's what makes you able to pull it up without bending the hooks out. Okay, so I hope I didn't miss anything out. I want to make this video as short as possible. But if you haven't yet and want to learn more, there are a lot of videos in the channel, and you could just go do a search, and more than likely you'll find the answer that you're looking for. There are a lot of videos specific to slow jigging, to jigging in general, and the parts of this whole thing. Okay, so if you haven't yet, again, explore the channel, subscribe. If you like this video and you've learned something, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It's very important. uh, if you think that there's someone who would find this video interesting, that's a friend of yours, a family member, a fishing buddy, whatever, send this video out, share the channel, share the video, share the videos in the channel. There are a lot of videos there to learn from. Um, and if you want to help this channel move forward, go right ahead and click on the membership button. Very, very appreciated. And yeah, it's uh it's a big help. Okay, that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.